Hey mods and rockers, Ed the Metronome Basinski, back today with a long run shoe test. The ZoomX Invincible Run Flyknit, the best long run shoe ever? Possibly? Let's get to it. So quick preamble with this one, topping off a 50-mile week, so that's about 80 kilometers. Finish things off with a 14-mile long run, so 22.5 kilometers. Pace was 7 minutes 40 per mile, which is 4 minutes 46 per kilometer. So some decent averages across the session there, keeping the work rate very much in my aerobic zone. Peace and quiet out there by the bucket load. And for once, almost no wind. Here's some action-packed footage for you.
I know that Kafuzi's got sub-zero temperatures at the moment, but I've just seen a guy running past in a vest. It's like 11 degrees or something. It's crazy. So for the half marathon time trial next week, I can't use this route. There's just too many people. Far too many people around. There are too many stops. I think it might have to be the training estate. I hate to say it. Well, it's only 22 laps of the training estate. It's not that bad, I suppose. So it's a main sort of link road out of my town, which is currently completely closed off. They're doing work on it. I don't know exactly what it is they're doing because there's nothing going on right now. But I thought I'd take the opportunity to ride along a really nice, straight, flat piece of road. For once, you know, it's not very often you get to do this. It just goes on and on and on. It's certainly a route for people that crave the peace and quiet. Birds singing, not a soul anywhere. It's beautiful. I mean, it's normally a really busy road here that's sadly quite a dangerous one too. I wouldn't want to run along here normally, but without any traffic, it's fantastic. Newsflash, I just saw two people and they were enjoying the peace and quiet just as much as I am. Ah, Kev Burmaster, Amado, Joe, I wish you could be here with me now. This is beautiful. It's just nothing except birds and beautiful tarmac. I think it's the endorphins. Back into the town now, just past this massive airfield here, which is normally pretty windy. And yep, it's windy. So that's about 9.5 miles down this little stretch and back up. And yeah, we'll be near where I need to be for about 14 miles, which is ideal, absolutely ideal. And then some nice rest and relaxation is on the cards.
So I still have a few misgivings about this shoe after 42 miles. Let's get to it. Upperwise, these have left me with two humongous blisters on the inner side of my big toe on both feet. And when I commented about that on Strava, there were a number of viewers and followers that have had exactly the same issues. Literally no other shoe aside from the Ultra Boost 20 has given me blisters of that magnitude. I've got to be honest, those painful and large protrusions really do smart right now. I'm having to wear some of my shoes with the widest toe boxes to relieve the pressure. In fact, the Blazer Low from Nike was the only one that saved me from sore steps as of now. A great number of viewers have recorded problems about the shoe in that area. Got a feeling it's something to do with these reflective strips here. Just after the miles rack up, I think these parts are rubbing on the outer edge of the big toe. So I'm going to try and remove these at some point. Not sure how. Maybe heat them up very slightly. Just cut them off. But it's a bit crummy to have such a problem there. It's got to be that. I mean, it's exactly the right place there. It's no coincidence, is it? So got to be honest, as a long run shoe, I think it's probably about 10 miles I'm going to take it to in the future. That's going to be the max. I can't afford to have that happen again. It's ridiculous. All these other shoes that I've tested out, and this is the only one, aside from the Ultra Boost 20, that's done that to me. I have had to also put a plaster just under the ball of my ankle, so it probably is around about here. And when looking inside, yet again, there's some stitching there, which appears to stitch on actually part of this padded area, and that's where I was getting the rubbing. So it's two areas that you just think, how did that get through testing? Lockdown remained consistent throughout, though I did have to cinch the laces up quite a bit to get a good lockdown. Obviously laces are too short here for me to tie a runner's knot, or at least get a double knot tied with that runner's knot, which I got to say, midsole wise, the squash in the foam here in the ZoomX did become a bit of an issue towards the end of my long run. I had to focus very carefully on my foot strike, which really had me losing focus about other stuff like breathing, making sure I was moving my arms, and it's not really a great thing to have to contend with at that point. I had high hopes for it actually in the long run. I mean, pace wise, it's great, but it's left me battered and bruised, which isn't what you want. I'm still not convinced about such a compressive foam in this sort of form, and it feels like it could be a bit of a lure or perhaps a big band-aid to people that keep getting recurring injuries. You know, the soft compressive foam, stop me getting injured, but I just don't think this is going to improve your running form. I think if your form's pretty decent, you're going to be fine, but if you've got any sort of pronation issues, then it's just going to exacerbate them. I did seem to be veering subconsciously towards the crown of the road all the time. Then it was taking less mental calculation as to how my foot was going to come down onto the floor. Any sort of uneven camber, and I really didn't like it that much. I was just constantly searching out and targeting those flatter areas. I think a lower stack version of this shoe would probably work a little bit better. I think there's just too much foam there. You don't need anywhere near as much of it because it's very compressive. Certainly not one of the better long run experiences that I've had of recent time. Lots of infinitely better shoes out there for that purpose, which have left my foot in vastly better condition afterwards. Outsole wise, the small tips on some of the protrusions here are already starting to wear down. I mean, grip's still really good, but that's quite a lot of wear very quickly. It was lots of road running today, all tarmac type stuff, apart from a little work on some moss. Grip on the deserted tarmac today was rather spiffing and provided zero issues once again, so certainly for me the better part of the shoe. They got that bit right at least. I think I'm becoming more used to the shoe underfoot now. The more and more I use it, the better it feels, but that upper issue is a real deal breaker. It's certainly not sizing, as there's ample room there. It doesn't feel as if the shoe's shrunk at all. It's my standard Nike size. It's just these bits. They are quite rigid actually when you feel them. There's not a lot of movement there in them. I reckon they will come off. I'll get the spatula out. I've got to be honest, only over the long run distance has the problem manifested itself. I haven't experienced any of that on my shorter runs in the Invincible Run. So at this price, many of the shoes actually coming in at a lower cost haven't had anywhere near this many issues, and certainly none have given me blisters like that just after a long run. That's just crazy. I mean, they hurt now a lot, so certainly shelved for the long run purpose. Don't even think about it. If you've gone out on some long runs in the ZoomX Invincible and you've had some problems too, let me know in the comments below. There's already loads of people on Strava that have had exactly the same issue, and I know Tim Gross too. He's got blisters in exactly the same place, so I don't think it's a coincidence. If you haven't already done so, please head over to the community section of the site. I'm running a poll right now as to which shoe I should wear for my half marathon time trial this weekend. Early on, the Adizero Adios Pro has quite a respectable lead. I think it's leading by about 11%, with around 40% of the votes so far. I think we've had over 1,300 votes now, which is insane. Which one do you think will come out on top? Do go and cast your vote. The next percent wasn't far behind, so could make a comeback. But you know I really enjoy running in the Adizero Adios Pro, so I know that shoe works for me. Just a quick mention, don't forget we've got that merchandise available for the channel. Maybe you can pick yourself up a t-shirt, a hoodie, or even a mug. You can check out some of the merchandise just below, and there's a link in the description also. Okay, it's time for me to rock and roll out of here. Thanks for tuning in and sticking with me to the very end. If you haven't done so already, please do hit that subscribe button and click the bell below for notifications of when I launch those new videos. And it really does help out if you give this video a thumbs up, like, and share this video with your running buddies. My name's EDDBUD, and I'll be seeing you